The RS feels so strange. Oh my god, the clutch is so light, and the brakes are not as sharp as in the S1000. So I gotta get accustomed again. Maybe my brakes need bleeding, which is what I'm supposed to do anyway. But oh my lord. And then the gear throws are much longer on this bike, and it does feel more loose. It's like a loose feeling. Not loose in the sense that you know, anything is actually loose or slack, needs tightening up. No, not that. But it just feels more, I don't know. The other one is tight and compact. This one is more relaxed. Everything is more relaxed, I guess. That's what I should have said instead of loose. It's more relaxed. And never thought I'd say that for a sport bike, but when you compare it to a super sport, which is what the other one is actually, a super sport, then yeah, this thing is pretty slack. Imagine if this was a touring bike. Oh my god. So having said that, I'm really glad that I've got these two types of bikes, because to me, when you've got more than one kind of bike, they should be vastly different, so you get a completely different riding experience. I don't know how some people can get more than one of the same bike, the same kind of bike. You know, to me that makes absolutely zero sense. And having said that, for me, I would have to have bikes that are completely different. And what is this? Spring Cypress. And with the RS, it is completely different than the oh, it's so soft. And when it's idling here at the stoplight, it's just idling at God knows what it's idling at. It's idling at about 1,000. The other one idles at 1,200, 1,250, and it's a more urgent idle. This is idling at 1,000, and it's very soft, very quiet. Even with the Remus exhaust, this thing is, hey, I lost a turn on the light. Anyway, there's a car next to me, so next turn. So yeah, even with the Remus exhaust, it's more quiet than the S1000. But oh yeah, this is so comfortable compared to that, and great for touring, as you know, and also great in the twisties because it's as stable as a train. It just, you know, so this is a very, very, very nice bike, and having the other bike confirms the choice of the RS as an excellent all-rounder. The other bike is great for commuting and, you know, hooning around, being a hooligan, and spirited riding and all of that kind of stuff, whereas this bike can do both, and it can go camping and it can go long distance touring, and it'll cruise all day at 80 miles an hour, and it'll get better fuel economy. And top speed on this thing is close to 150, so it's no slouch. It'll do 60 seconds in about 3 seconds, which is a little bit slower than the S, but no slouch. I just missed the shift. Oh boy. So I don't know where I'm going. I'm just exercising the RS. So I'm not going too far. I've got to get back and do some video editing. I've also got to go and install the tank grips on the S, 1000. I've got some stump grips, tank grips, and I'm going to be installing those today. And I've got to program my garage door openers, because for the last couple, 2-3 weeks, the garage door has been behaving erratically. It's not been always opening with my garage door opener. And I just received a new one for the S1000, and so I thought I might as well go ahead and reprogram all of them, make sure everything is working, because it's a pain in the ass when I get home and the garage door is not opening. I definitely have a more upright riding position on the RS. I used to think it was lean forward a bit, but after riding the S1000, it's almost vertical. It's not vertical, you know, the GS is vertical, but here you're lean forward slightly. And even though I'm shorter, where the heck is this guy going? I'm shorter, so I've got shorter arms than some people who are like 6 feet long, 6 feet tall, or whatever. Even though I'm shorter, I'm not leaning forward as much as on the RS, as on the S1000. So less fatigue on the wrists as well on the RS. So, and I don't have any bar risers on this bike. So that just goes to show you the difference in ergonomics. The foot position is such that the leg is a little bit less bent on this bike than the S1000. It's more bent on the S1000, more in a sport riding position, whereas this one is slightly more relaxed, but still in a sport riding position, because the pegs are a little bit back. They're not directly underneath the knee. But this engine is so wonderful. Oh my god. The Boxer, oh, it's such a beauty. I love this bike. You know, funnily enough, when I first got this bike, I didn't really love it that much. I didn't know it that much. Then I went on a ride, a long ride, and here I just auto blip down. Oh, I can't do that with the S1000. This one I just press the lever down and she changes. It wasn't until I went for my very first long distance ride and I came back. I went to Big Bend. This was in 2016, I guess, April of 2016. I went to Big Bend National Park, and when I came back, I was in love with the bike. I had bought the bike the previous year in, what was it, maybe August or September of 2015. And I like the bike, don't get me wrong, I like the bike ever since that time. But it wasn't until I got back in April from Big Bend that I was really, you know, in love with the bike. And that's where the bike really became my friend, and got his name, and it's a special part of my life. As a matter of fact, later on that year, I went on to do my trip to the BMW National Rally in Hamburg, New York, and went across to Canada, and so that was an even longer ride and made me love the bike even more. And then we got into an accident in Tennessee, where a loose wheel came off of a truck, rolled down the embankment to the side of the road onto the freeway, missed all the cars, and rode straight into my right leg and right cylinder head, causing a complete fracture of my right fibula, and my leg was at an angle, you know, it was bent outwards, and the bike never went down. The wheel hit my leg and the cylinder head, and The bike was still upright. I still managed to control the bike until I made a safe stop at the median of this highway, and I went to put down my leg, and I went to put down the right leg, which was broken and not there, and I just keeled over. Keeled over, landed on my ass and my shoulder, and had no damage at all anywhere on my whole body. Even after keeling over, no damage, no bruising, no nothing. The only thing was wrong was my leg. And long story short, got a titanium pin in my right leg, in my right tibia. So that was all fixed up, and I was riding in the accident happened in July of 2016, and I was back on the bike in the latter part of November 2016. The bike suffered over $7,000 damage. They replaced the cylinder head and everything, and replaced various other things that I didn't think were damaged, but anyway, that wasn't on me. So I got the bike back. The bike was fixed at Eurosport Asheville, and it spent several months there, and it was shipped back to me in see, this is what I mean about this bike. Was shipped back to me by haulbikes.com. Brilliant company. And as soon as I got it bike, I got a video of that, but I haven't made it video public. I was hobbling to the truck, which was parked on the road, and the guy took the bike off the truck, and I hobbled over and I threw my leg over for the very first time in what, I don't know, 3 months, 4 months. Oh, look at this blipper. Oh man, the throttle blipper. Oh, it's so sweet. Threw my leg over, rode the bike up into the garage, and that was it. Then 2 weeks after, I couldn't handle it anymore. I couldn't take not riding anymore, and I had to get out. Doctor said it was okay, as long as I don't put too much weight on the leg. Well, as you know, the RS is extremely stable. It's got the weight down low, and it carries its weight so well. So it was not an issue. So yeah, great to have both bikes. Now, to be honest, I wasn't looking to buy that Roadster. I always did like sport bikes. I always did like the Roadster. I took an Aprilia Tuono out one time, and oh my god, it blew me away. I just didn't have the money at the time. It had very low mileage. I didn't have the money at the time, so I never bought it. And then I saw that BMW's S1000 was in the same class, but I never did test ride one. I did all kinds of test rides, but never did test ride an S1000R. And I was kind of like apprehensive about test riding it anyway, because I knew that if I test rode it, I might like it so much that I'd want to buy one. And so I never did test ride it. And then when this thing popped up, I bought it without test riding it. Well, no, I bought it after just taking it for a short test ride, because after I had the money in my hand and the guy saw it was serious, he let me take it for a ride, with the understanding that if there was anything that I didn't like, the deal would be off. But yeah, so I wasn't, that bike just popped up on my radar. It was a fantastic price, a great deal. So I says, well, let me go for it, and then let me think afterwards. Just before somebody else snaps it up. So that's how come I came to buy that. But prior to that, I was looking at a Tiger 800, and those bikes are very, very hard to come by. That was going to be my second bike, the Tiger 800. I love that triple engine, and I like the performance. I test rode one. I really liked it, and that also was a completely different riding experience. Let's go back to that park again. Completely different riding experience than the RS. So I'd have that same criterion of having two different bikes. And but then I wasn't finding any Tigers to buy. So I was just waiting for a Tiger to show up on my radar, you know, on for sale, that had fairly low miles and good price and so on. And while doing that, the S1000 came up. So, oh well. So I've got an S1000 and I've got an RS. Two kind of sport bikes. Still can't go off-road, but hey, I have not been camping, motor camping that much in the last little while. So I told my wife, I said, look, if I start going motor camping more often and I justify the need to go off-road, because so far all the motor camping that I've done has been in state parks, which means not off-road, and had fun. But I told my wife, I said, if I start motor camping and I discover some off-road places that I need to go camp in and all of that stuff, I don't know, maybe I'll get rid of the S1000 and get that Tiger again, you know. So I'm not going to buy 3 bikes. I don't have the garage room. I barely have enough room in my garage for 2 bikes. I'm not going to get 3 bikes. Plus, I don't see the need to get 3 bikes, honestly. Now that I've got more than 1 bike, it's a pain in the ass to go and exercise both bikes. I'm riding the S1000, and this morning I hadn't ridden. I decided I had to take this RS out because it wasn't ridden for a whole week. And bikes need to be ridden. So that's why I'm doing this. But yeah, so I won't get a 3rd bike. Then the problem will be made even worse. So only 2 bikes for me. Oh, listen to that crackle and pop from the Remus. The standard exhaust. The parking lot is nice and vacant. The standard exhaust. Oh, I was looking at the wrong parking lot. But still, where I was before is not too bad. Let's go in there. The standard exhaust on the S1000 is pretty darn nice. You know, it's a great exhaust, and I have no inclination to go and change it at this time. It'll just be a waste of money. So let's park this right here. So no change to that. Off. Oh, the nav6 compared to the nav4 that I have on the S1000. Oh, the nav6 is wonderful. One of the things that irritates me about the nav4 is that it doesn't show me upcoming cross streets, and I can't figure out yet how to make that happen, if it can happen at all. But with the nav6, the nav6 tells you what street is upcoming, what cross street is upcoming, which is far more important and useful than telling me, you know, what road I'm on. So, big difference. Plus, finding favorites and all of that stuff. Oh, the nav6 and the nav4 is no comparison. Plus, the screen is no comparison as well. I'm ordering one of these quad locks for the other bike as well. I love those. So here I am back at Burroughs Park again. Different bike, of course, and it's still not too bad out today. It's gonna get some rain. We're gonna get some rain later on today as the weather changes. It's gotten a bit overcast now, and so it's gonna change for the worse. So like I said, the bikes are completely different in character. This one has a lot of character. That's another thing I can say about the S1000. The S1000, as beautiful as it is, it's a weapon. It's it doesn't have much character. It's a great bike, of course. It's great performance, but it doesn't you know, evoke that sense of character. It doesn't say, hey, look at me, I am what I am, and take it or leave it. This bike has got tons of character. This bike has got personality. This bike is Grump the Grey, and it's a beauty. Look at it from all angles. Ignore that ugly top box. I hate my top box, but I love the functionality. It's like the minivan, you know, minivan. You can't argue with the functionality of a minivan, but they look like shit, just like the top box. It could have been a worse top box, of course. This top box at least is a good looking shape, and it doesn't look too badly on the RS, I suppose. But yeah, I'm not going to put any kind of top box or anything like that on the S1000. I will get a tail bag most likely because I've got to commute to work with it. But other than that, that's it. That and the tank bag. I couldn't use the GP tank bag that I use on this one on the S1000 because it's just so far back, and it will be you know, pushing against my stomach. Even if I were to lose my stomach, my gut, it would still be in a wrong position. God, look at her. 48,000 miles, 6 years old. This is the keeper, man. The other one might go, but this one is the keeper. Yeah. And slightly asymmetric front lights, and these front lights, the headlights both come on when it's in high beam. None of that high beam only, low beam off nonsense with the S1000. That's the one thing I hate about that bike. The only thing. And the seat on this, oh, it's so much more comfortable. And of course I've got this air conditioning on it, this mesh that works a treat. And of course for my wife, that seat is much better than on the S. She hasn't gone on the S1000 yet, and she's reluctant to go on it. She says the only time she'll go on it is when I get accustomed to riding it. Told her I'm already accustomed to riding it, but don't know if she believes me. Anyway, I think that I'm going to take a few still pictures right now, and then take off and go back home. One of the things that that sets the RS apart from the S1000 also is the steering lock. The steering lock on the RS is much better than the S1000. It turns much more over to one side, to the right or to the left. So in a way it's more maneuverable, even though it's a much bigger bike. Such a beauty. The other one is a 4-cylinder and it's a very smooth engine. This engine is also very smooth, but because it's a twin, it's got a different harmonic. So what you feel is the harmonic. That's the difference between the two. The harmonics are different. However, the actual amplitude of vibration coming through the frame and into your touch points is very similar. This boxer engine has balance shafts. I don't believe that the S1000's engine has balance shafts. So it's relying on the harmonics to keep it smooth, whereas this one here has balance shafts, counterbalance shafts to help smoothen out the engine, and also maybe the you know, the weights, the handlebar weights, bar end weights, and the mounting of the engine and the handlebar. Maybe that's even more damped. Maybe there's bushings there. I don't know. But what I do know is that this bike is smoother in some respects. It's like the engine is softer. You know, I don't know. It's a much bigger, well, not much. It's a bigger engine. It's a 1170cc versus the 995 or whatever it is on the S1000. So it's a bigger engine, but it's just as smooth. Let's call it a wash. Different harmonics, but different vibration. I can tell you one thing, because these mirrors are mounted on the cowl and not on the handlebars, they're less prone to vibration, and these mirrors are rock solid up until any speed that I've ever reached on this bike. So they don't vibrate. They just shake with the bike. You know, the bike is going over a rough road like this, they're just moving up and down with the bike, but themselves they don't vibrate. Another thing that's missing from the S1000 is the jog wheel. It doesn't have a jog wheel. I miss that, because the jog wheel controls this thing, controls the GPS. I've got to press buttons on the side of the GPS to get it to do anything, and even then it's not as functional. So I miss my jog wheel, but all other controls are exactly the same. And that's the beauty about owning two BMWs. The operational controls are no different. Love that. And of course, you know, BMW's got fantastic switch gear anyway. The switches make a lot of sense. And so that was another oh darn, they're gonna stop. That was another good benefit for buying a similar bike. Quick shifter is very smooth on this, especially if you're accelerating hard. And that there, back there, was not very hard acceleration, but still it was smooth because I was changing from third to fourth. The quick shifter on the S1000 is smoother between 1 and 2, I can tell you that. It does not have that big kick in the pants feeling. Even if you're not accelerating that hard, it's smoother. So it's smoother all around, but this one isn't too bad at all. Anyway, I think I've said enough comparing those two, and we'll see how to throw that together in a video. Maybe it'll be informative to you, and the high points of that of this aspect of this video is to show that they're both very enjoyable bikes to ride. They both have their strengths, and for me, I need to have two vastly different bikes, and these two bikes are vastly different, and very pleased with the two different bikes that I have. Very happy about that. So until I see you in the next video, take care, keep the shiny side up, and stay safe. Watch out for the COVID-19 virus. Keep your social distance and wash your hands frequently, and take care.